Hey, it's Rav. You're watching The Everyday Investor, the hottest real estate investment show in the world. That's right. I said it. I don't care who knows it. We've got a phenomenal show. We're going to be talking about how to make money down south, how to make money investing in the States. I've got the guru of investing in the States with me, Mr. Captain Walia is on the show. I can't wait for you guys to hear his story. As mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking to my good friend Anil Walia, learning how to make money investing in the United States of America. Anil, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir.
I'm so pleased when I can get you to come on the show. You know, you're probably, I think I can say, the most successful person I know living here in Ontario, but making your money in the States, and quite passively. And we're going to talk about that. You've got also a couple of friends that you've been mentoring as well, just everyday people. Not that we aren't everyday people. We're all just people and enjoying what we're doing. But we're going to talk to them. We're going to look at some numbers, seeing the return on investment as well. But before we get into all of that, the big question that's the most interesting to me, and what I love about you, is why? Why are we doing this? I mean, what are we doing? We're making money. How are we doing it? Real estate investing. But the most important question is, why are we doing this?
You see, one of the main reason is financial freedom. In fact, I'm an engineer. I came here, picked up a job, and at the age of 54, I was laid off.
Wow. And you came here from India?
I came here from India.
An engineer, and did you work as an engineer here?
I worked as an engineer for 3 years.
For 3 years, and at the age 54, you were laid off.
At 54, I was laid off, and I realized at that time that I'm not going to work anymore. I'm going to do something which can make me financially free. I can spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I don't have to look for job time and again. And it is at that time I realized that real estate is a vehicle which can help me become financially free and enjoy life.
And so we're talking, what is Anil's life right now? Wonderful wife, a couple of kids, grandkids. Paint the picture a little bit.
Yeah, I have obviously wife, and I have 2 children. Both are married, and I have 3 grandchildren. And it's great fun spending time with them.
Yes.
I spend around 2 hours, maximum 2 hours a day on my portfolio, and we do go on vacation.
Maximum 2 hours a day. So you're spending about 10, 12 hours a week on your portfolio. The rest of the time you're just enjoying.
Yeah, rest of the time we enjoy life.
And I brought you on the show not to make people feel anything other than, if Anil can do it, then we can do it. I mean, that's the whole purpose. A lot of times, we watch these shows, well, it's easy for that guy, or it's easy for that person, so on and so forth. But when people hear your story, that you just started with a couple $100,000 and now have built millions of dollars in a short time, I think that's what's most encouraging. Do you find, as now you're doing a little bit of coaching and mentoring and helping people, do you find that people feel it's good for you but not good for them?
No, I think it's good for everybody. I feel, it's the necessity is the mother of invention. Like when I was
necessity is the mother of invention. You were laid off and you had to feed the family.
I had to feed the family, and I had to devise a system that I don't have to go for job again and again.
Yeah.
And it is at that time I started thinking within myself and outside. Within myself, I looked for the passion. That what is my passion? I said I'm going to do a thing which does not give me stress. At the same time, it's a hobby, and I can make money.
It's a pretty good hobby.
Yeah.
Anil. Yes.
So at that time I realized a lot of people helped me also in because I underwent a lot of courses, and they told me there's an equity lying in the house. And
there's equity lying in your house.
In my house.
Access the money that you've already built that's in your principal residence.
Yeah. In fact, one of my mentor told me it is criminal for any investor to leave the money equity in the house.
Yes.
Because it's a dead equity. If you don't utilize, you don't gain anything.
Yes.
So it is those thoughts which force me to explore various avenues, and it takes courage. Everybody. I'm a naval officer. There are so many naval people around in Canada.
Yeah.
They don't have the courage to take out equity and make money out of it.
Yeah.
So I went through training. I took shorter steps, and I accessed that money, and then I started investing.
Well, listen, I am so excited for the viewers, for you at home, to hear Anil's story. We're going to take a break in a second. When we come back, we're going to cover his story and how he's went from a couple $100,000 in his home to making millions and doing all this from here, but taking advantage of all the different things happening in the U.S. You don't want to go anywhere. The Everyday Investor will continue in a moment. Thanks for watching. Whenever you're considering to invest in real estate, always ask the 4 questions to start. Number 1, what's the return on investment? Number 2, when do I get that return, along with the money that I put in? Number 3, what is the minimum cash amount needed? And number 4, what is the risk in the worst case scenario? Hey, it's Rav. You're watching The Everyday Investor. Today we're going to learn how to make money in the U.S. Anil Walia is here with us, who's doing a great job just doing that. Anil, great to have you on the show. We've got, just 14, 15 minutes here before we bring on our other guests and how that you've taught them how to make money. Both Harv and Pompey are going to come on the show. So I'm going to do a little bit of rapid fire with you to really just share with the viewers at home exactly what you did. So you came here in your late 40s, I think, from India. How old were you when you?
48.
48 years old. You came from India. You were an engineer. You took a job for 3 years. You got laid off. Then you actually did a little something, or was that the same job where you were traveling to Peterborough? Was that the same job that you got laid off?
Yeah.
Okay, so not only did you move to the GTA, to Toronto, but you took a job that had you working somewhere else 5 nights a week. You weren't in the same bed as your wife, because we have to do what we have to do to make money.
Absolutely.
You got laid off, and it was a blessing, because since then, give me the picture today, and then we'll look at the story of how you got there. So today, how many investment properties do you have in the States?
I have 46.
46.
46.
A few months ago, you had 39.
Yeah.
So you have 46 properties in the States right now.
Yeah.
You started this whole endeavor, correct me if I'm wrong, 200,000, 400,000? How much did you start this whole thing with?
$440,000.
$440,000 you started with, and that money came from your principal residence. You refinanced your home.
That's right.
You took out $440,000 and you went and played real estate investing with it. And today, the portfolio is worth what?
It's worth around 8.2 million.
8.2 million?
Yeah.
No, not including mortgages.
No.
Not including mortgages. The value today.
The value of the portfolio is around 8.2 million.
Stop it. 8.2 million. So you took $440,000, and today that portfolio is worth $8.2 million. And that was over a period of how many years? What year did you start this? Not the education part,
Yeah.
but the first, from the time you bought your first property.
I bought my first property in January 2012.
2012.
12.
So we're just shy of 5 years.
Yeah.
So in less than 5 years you did this.
Yes.
This is amazing. Okay, tell your story, and the part that's the most inspiring to me is how long did it take you to do the research, and how much money you spent to do the research. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, as I mentioned, after I got a layoff, I was forced to come out with a solution wherein I can find, I can be financially free and I can find time for myself. So when I realized that I have so much equity in my house, and I didn't have the courage to directly invest in the investment properties, so I started doing private mortgages,
Lending your money out.
lending my money out to those people who were investing on the investment
I
properties.
see. So there's people out there, they were buying properties in the States or just anywhere.
Yeah.
They needed some money,
Yeah.
and so you would lend them money for 7, 8, 9%, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and in fact, that gave me exposure that if these guys are paying me 10%, they must be making 20%.
You're a smart guy.
So,
Yes.
so I did that for about 2 to 3 years. On the side, I also wanted to learn in much more detail because I'm an engineer, very logical and systematic person. So I thought I must acquire knowledge before I, bet my feet. So I started attending various seminars, took various courses, and it was my good luck that market in US crashed at that time in 2009.
Yes.
So that gave me further exposure. So I, visited 8-9 cities in the US, including Chicago,
So you
Atlanta.
literally travel. You got on a plane. You went to all these different places based on research.
Yeah, and I spent about 5 to 6 days in each of the towns, and
Okay.
I picked up 3-4 realtors, went and saw the places. In fact, it is these visits of mine which gave me a big exposure, because US is a huge country, and there are maybe 20 real estate markets. So each market is different from others. So you got to be very careful in which market you finally land up.
Yes.
So after I, saw whole of US, I realized Las Vegas and Orlando are two good markets.
So you narrowed it down. So there's Phoenix, Arizona. There's Michigan. There's Arizona. There's different places out there. Baltimore. I mean, and you narrowed it down to Vegas and Orlando.
Orlando.
Okay. And so how long was this research?
This was about 3 years.
So you spent 3 years researching before you bought your first property.
Absolutely.
And how much money? And we're talking hotels, traveling. We have to eat. The courses. How much money did you spend?
Around $40,000 to $50,000.
$40,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
And that's not included in the 440 here.
No, that's not.
So your startup cost was about $500,000.
Yeah.
About 40 to 50,000 being research, education.
Absolutely.
And the other 440 was to get started on the properties, and then you're going to tell us how that's all you spent to create this $8 million. But what were the fundamental factors that had you land in both Vegas and Orlando? What were you looking for?
You see, I was primarily, there were a lot of negativity in the market. People are saying, why are you going to US? US market is melting, so prices are falling. Why are you going there? Then how are you going to control a property sitting in Canada? How are you going to manage renters? How are you going to manage a lot of notices come, from the counties, from the homeowner association? So I said, don't worry. When I went there, in November 2011, I went to Orlando, and I had put in 20 offers. And
20 offers.
20 offers.
Okay.
Because we were very careful, we were always underbidding. If property
Got it.
listed
Okay.
$100,000, we give an offer of 75 or 80. But I did manage one property in January 2012, and that property I got it at $180K, and in 15 days time it rented at $1,800.
So in January 2011, 12, that was when you bought your first property.
First property.
Just almost 5 years ago. And you bought that for $180,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and then?
And it got rented at $1,800.
$1,800.
Yeah.
And this is one of your rules that you call it the 1% rule.
1%
that you will not purchase a property unless 1% of that value becomes the monthly rent. So you bought for $180,000, and so therefore the gross rent needed to be $1,800. If you bought for $250,000, the gross rent needs to be $2,500.
Absolutely.
This is one of the rules, fundamental rules you follow.
This is a very, very important rule, because the cash flow is king.
Yes.
If your cash flow is not there, your whole portfolio can stop.
And this is why Anil doesn't buy here, because that rule will not work. Here, people look at different other things that they're interested in, but you're interested in cash flow because we need to eat. We have a wife, kids, grandkids, and so therefore you wanted passive income coming in monthly, so this was one of your rules.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you see, second thing was this house, which was $180,000 purchase price,
Yes.
was $400,000 at the peak.
Wow. So at one point, this house dropped 50-60%.
Yes.
Okay.
So I realized that there's no risk. I mean, there's very minimal risk, because the property cannot go down further.
Okay.
And even if it goes down, I'm getting $1,800 rent.
But why Orlando and Vegas as opposed to Michigan? Because the 1% rule wouldn't work there?
Yeah.
I see. So that's the answer. You're saying, I wanted to find a place where the 1% rule would work, where I needed to get 1% monthly gross rent from the purchase price. So whether I buy for $100,000, the rent needs to be $1,000. If I buy for $500,000, needs to be $5,000.
Yeah. Actually, for Michigan, I can even get 1.5%. Michigan is a state where the population is moving out.
Okay.
So there, the properties, you see, you got to analyze a lot of factors.
So that was one. You wanted the 1% rule.
1% rule.
Michigan works for that, even better.
No, Orlando works better.
Okay.
And in Michigan, because the economy is in trouble,
Yeah.
people are moving out of Detroit.
Got it.
All these.
So the second thing you looked at is there has to be a good GDP. There has to be
economy
has to be good, and so that eliminated places like Michigan, so on and so forth.
Michigan, Detroit, Buffalo, all.
So the 1% rule has to work. There needs to be a great economy.
Great economy.
And so you landed Vegas, Orlando.
Yeah.
Why did we choose? Because all 46 properties are, you know, you could ride our bike to the mall.
Yeah.
They're all in the same area in just outside Orlando in Kissimmee. Why there as opposed to Vegas?
Yeah, you see, Vegas and Orlando are perhaps similar, destinations. But in my case, I preferred Orlando because I felt Las Vegas is a little sin city.
Yeah.
Their economy is not well diversified.
Yeah.
And it's too far from Toronto.
Toronto.
So all these factors, because both were number-wise, maybe they were working out same. So I preferred Orlando.
Okay. And you have a certain property type that you purchase, right? Don't you always buy 3-bedroom, 2-washroom, raised bungalow kind of thing?
Yeah,
or?
you see, another thing I realized, for investment properties, one doesn't have to be emotional. These properties are investment properties and they must work on numbers.
Okay.
If the numbers work, you buy. And for all these properties, you have to have exit strategies. So you must buy a property which is a hot cake. So 3-bedroom, 2-washroom.
Because you wanted families in there.
A family is there.
Yeah. As opposed to student rentals or things, you wanted a family there that you know is going to stay long term.
Stay long term. So those tenants give less problems.
Yeah.
And the properties appreciate. It's easier to rent these homes. It is easier to sell these homes.
Yes.
So whenever you want to come out, it's a matter of few months.
The 3-bedroom, 2-washroom.
3-bedroom.
And all your properties are one tenant? Pretty much?
Yeah, they're all
one single tenant.
Single tenant.
Okay, and so separate dwellings. So you have 46 separate dwellings.
Yeah, 46 single family homes.
Okay, and the part that I love the most is how many of those did you see prior to purchasing?
None.
One.
No.
Zero. You purchased these before even seeing them because you had done all your homework prior.
Yeah, no, because I developed a system that we can analyze a unit sitting in Canada.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I haven't done the analysis.
No, of course
buying.
not. And it doesn't mean, last week we did a TV show on building your team.
Yeah.
You have a team there.
I have a full team there.
Yeah.
So I do my analysis. Sitting here, I realize, I make out which home is good, which is not good.
Yeah.
So if a house falls in my, investment criteria, I make an offer. Then I send my real estate agent over there to look at the house.
Yeah.
So he sends me the pictures as well as the videos. Then I have a better picture. Then I send my
contractor?
Home inspector.
Okay.
Home inspector gives me a 40-page report, detailed report. So
Wow.
I further know that what is the state of the house.
Yeah.
Then I send my contractor, he gives me a quote.
How much lipstick is needed?
How much lipstick. So I know fully well before I get into the house as to how much is going to be the expense, over the purchase price.
You are not just a handsome man, huh? You are very smart. So Anil, so this was 2011, 5 years. You took $500,000, turned it into over $8 million. We're going to have a couple of people come on here, and they're going to show us what you taught them. I want to look at, you brought a couple of graphs here. I don't think we have time to look right this moment. We'll take a look at, after the break, because the question that begs and that I want you to answer when we come back is there still room to make money in the area of which you purchased? Really quickly before we go to break, when did you last buy your property, the 46th?
August 17th.
August. You bought your 46th property.
August
so obviously there's still room to make money in Orlando if you're still doing
Yes,
it.
my 47th property is closing on October 20th.
You're amazing. We're talking to Anil Walia. We're talking about how to make money in the U.S. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll continue in just a moment. Thanks for watching, everyone. Did you know that a good investment property should be generating at least 1% of the purchase price as gross rent per month? For example, a $200,000 property should generate at least $2,000 a month in gross rent. Hey, it's Rob. Welcome back to the Everyday Investor. We're talking about how to make money in the U.S. Anil Walia is with me on the show. He's sharing with us how he took about $440,000 and turned that into over $8 million in less than 5 years. He's now teaching people how to do it. A good friend of mine. He's brought on just an everyday person like you and I on the show here. Pompey Malik's on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you being on the show, and we're all, including Anil, just everyday people wanting to be able to create more time for us. So you met Anil, you saw him teaching, you said, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. And in how many months? 4 months, you have how many tenants now?
4 months, I have 7 tenants.
7 tenants. And Anil told me on the break that you have some pretty lofty goals. What's your goal here?
So the plan is over the next 3 years to acquire 30 tenants.
To have 30 tenants in 3 years and doing exactly what Anil has done.
Absolutely.
So Anil, we didn't talk about how people are watching the show and they're saying, well, $440,000 couldn't have turned into $8 million just by appreciation. No, part of your team is you have mortgage specialists down there. You're able to refinance money, pull all the money out basically. So you buy a property, you put some lipstick on it, then you pull all the money out.
Absolutely.
So we're pretty much in for nothing. And now this is just a cash cow bringing in passive income.
Yeah, obviously, and whatever rent comes, it gets reinvested.
Yeah, the rent gets reinvested as well to be able to move on to the next property, so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at one of your recent properties. I mean, they're all recent. You've only been doing this for a few months.
Right.
Let's take a look at this property, and it's in the same neighborhood as properties that Anil has as well. So this property is in Kissimmee. Is that where we are?
Yep.
In Florida. And what was the purchase price on this?
It was $119,000.
$119,000. Okay. So our purchase price. This marker, hopefully people can see this. Purchase price was $119,000. And so we buy this, Pompey, all cash.
Yes, all cash.
Right? So we're buying this property all cash. So I'm going to write that down again. $119,000, all cash. And then we have closing costs here as well. How much were closing costs?
So included in the $119,000 are $2,000 of closing costs.
Oh, included in that it was $2,000 closing costs. Okay,
right.
So we bought it for $117,000 and then $2,000. We'll just leave it as is. And then how much this property? I mean, we don't do major renovations when we buy these properties, Anil. We do a little lipstick, a little this and that to be able to spruce it up. How much did we spend on that?
So we spent $14,000. That was for renovating the kitchen, some bathrooms, some paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is all money out of pocket. I mean, it's really not out of pocket because if you learned from Anil, you probably borrowed this money. So the return on investment is going to be even higher than it already is. But let's just say this was all out of pocket, right? So anything else that was out of pocket?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so here we are. So this is what? 133?
Yes.
So we're in this property for $133,000. So then what happens, Anil, how do I get to, how much money can I pull out, what percentage, and why?
You see, because we did some renovations in this house.
Yes.
The property value went up to 157.
Oh, so this is not no longer
133, it became 157.
It's now 157. So this turned into $157,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
The appraisal came at 157.
Okay. So this is the new value.
Yeah.
So we increased this by what? What about almost 40 grand? We increased this by spending 14.
Yeah.
So I spent $14,000 and I increased it almost by $40,000.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now the bank says we can refinance this.
Absolutely.
But not the bank here. Is the bank the people that are on your team down there? That this is why you spent 2, 3, 4 years organizing your team.
Absolutely.
So what percent can I take out of the 157? Pompey, what did you take out?
70%.
They allowed you to take out 70%.
That's right.
So what's 70% of 157?
$110,000.
$110,000. So you got back $110,000, which leaves us, what, $47,000, right?
Right.
Is that right?
That's what's left, and of that 110, so I have 9,000 that's sunk.
Because because you have 110 that you took out, You're in for 133.
So it's only $23,000 in.
So you're in for, yeah, so this number is irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah, this is equity.
This is irrelevant. That's equity in there.
That's
You
right.
got back 110, you were in for 133, so now you're in the property for $23,000.
That's correct.
All right. This whole thing took how long? From purchase to renos to going to the bank, how long did this take?
About 30 days.
1 month. So you bought a property that's giving you, if you're following Anil's rules, that's giving you at least in and around $1,200 a month, right? And you are only in that deal for $23,000. So $1,200 a month. I mean, you're going to tell me what you're getting,
Right.
but $1,200 a month is about, you know, 14.
Rent is $1,350 in this
Yeah.
house.
We're actually.
No, I know. I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying, following the rule,
Yeah.
Right.
the rule should be about $1,200. So that's giving you $15,000 a year just in cash flow, and you're only in for $23,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So already I'm close to 100% return on my investment.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about paying down mortgage, how much it naturally goes up, so on and so forth. So let's talk about that. So there's three things that we look at. We look at it going up, and I know Anil's pretty conservative. What percent did you use going up?
3%.
3%. So it's going up 3%.
Right.
3% on the 157.
Yes.
So that equals what?
4,710.
4710
Right.
is how much that's going to go up. So it's not liquid, but it's
No.
in the property.
Right.
Then somebody's paying down our mortgage because we have a mortgage on the property now.
Right.
Correct? We pulled out, or you're right. And we have a $47,000
Equity.
Yeah, and so therefore, but we put a mortgage on the property because we
Yeah.
pulled out everything. So how much are they paying down total?
517 a month.
517
sorry.
a year. No,
Mortgage payment is 1950 a year.
1950.
Yes.
That's how much you're making, almost $2,000. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 1950. And then the big one, the cash flow, is how much money are you making there?
6,204.
6,204.
Yeah, so that's less the operating expenses
Of course.
and less the mortgage
Yeah.
payment.
So 6,204.
And 4.
And 4.
When I add these three numbers up, what does that give me?
Oh.
Gives me about 13,000 or so? Or?
Yeah, roughly. But we have to also add in the forced appreciation.
Of course, we forgot that. So you forced it up because you did the renovations.
Right.
And how much was that again?
That was 24,000.
24,000. Why only 24,000? We bought it for 117.
From 130.
Right.
133.
133 to 157.
Oh, I see, because of our renos. Okay,
Right.
obviously we take that out.
Right.
Okay, so 24,000. So
Right.
when I add all these numbers up, what does this give me?
36,864.
36,864
864 on an initial investment.
So that's my,
Right.
we'll just call that profit.
Okay.
And then we divide that by 23,000.
Right.
And that will give me an ROI of what?
155%.
155% in your first year.
Right.
Obviously, that's going to be less the next year because this includes our forced appreciation.
Right.
But even in the next year, you're still going to be making what, 50, 60, 70%?
Roughly 54%.
54%.
Yeah.
So I just want the viewers to see this, that Pompey has made 155% on his money just within a month or two. Over the first year, actually when we include all the other things, over the first year, this is what his return on investment is. Every year thereafter, it's going to be at least 50% on the money that we have. And of course, as it increases, you could probably even pull out more money, so on and so forth.
Right.
And this is, Anil, typical.
Absolutely.
This is what's happening now.
Even now, such houses are available.
So we have some graphs here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some graphs here on the screen. Talk us through this graph here. Which one is this?
Yeah, you see, if you look at this graph, the prices in the red are the home prices in Canada.
Okay.
And the prices in the blue are the home prices in US. So if you see up to around 2006, they were following the same
As Canada.
same as Canada and US were on the same slope. After 2006, they started their divergence started. In 2008, the properties in US started falling down, whereas in Canada it kept rising. There was a small dip in 2008 in Canadian prices, but now if you see, there's a big gap between the real estate prices in US as well as in Canada.
Okay, let's look at the next one here. So,
Yeah.
so basically what you're trying to say is we're on sale. I mean,
Yeah.
the U.S. is on sale right now, even today,
Yeah.
2016,
US
2017.
real estate is in a very good spot even today to enter.
To enter.
Yeah.
And this one is the what? Foreclosures.
Yeah, this one is a foreclosures. It depicts that Florida is still one of the attractive place. Florida is at number 5 as far as the foreclosures are concerned.
So in all the states, Florida is ranked number 5 for most foreclosures,
Most foreclosures.
meaning that we can still get some good purchase price, but we can still get 1% of the purchase price on gross rent.
Absolutely. You see, the US average is around 2.4% foreclosures. In Orlando, we find 4.4%.
So double.
Foreclosure. Double.
Okay, what else? You had another graph there?
Yeah.
I think there's another
Yeah,
one.
another
Yeah.
graph over here. We see in the blue we see the home prices in Orlando.
Yeah.
So if you can see during the peak in 2008, they touched almost 280K,
Yeah.
and now they are back to around 200. So they are still 26% down
20% from 280 to about 200.
from the peak.
Okay.
So still there is a lot of scope in.
And that's why you're still
in the home
buying.
price. Yeah,
We're on number 47 for you, and then we
yeah.
have another one here.
We have another one here. We see the comparison of Orlando prices with
All
the
I
US.
see is the colors of India.
Yeah, yeah.
Green and orange.
The green is the US home prices
Yeah.
and orange is the Orlando. So if you see in 2007, Orlando home prices were more than the US average.
Yes.
And today in 2016, 2017, you see they're still below the
Yeah.
US average.
You know,
So they got to come back to the.
And looking at these graphs, you know, Pompey, what I love about you guys is we're not buying in Orlando because we want to go visit Disney. We're not buying in Orlando because it's sunny and it's only a 3-hour flight here in Toronto. Not that you would fly there because all your purchases you didn't see. How about you? Did you go down and see beforehand or no?
No, I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen your properties?
No.
Wow. And you're making money. We're buying there because of all the fundamentals. I mean, you're showing me Orlando compared to the rest of the states.
Yes.
You know how the economy is good, but yet we're still lower. It has the most foreclosures, but there's a lot of people that work there. Employment is heavy, so people have to rent their family homes, so on and so forth. So that's fantastic. So you have just did this in a few months. You have a goal of 30 tenants in 3 years.
Right.
What's next? What's the next purchase?
Actually, we're looking at a triplex.
Yeah.
And once we finish the refinance of the sixplex, we'll move on to the triplex.
Okay, great. But this one we looked at was just a single.
Yes.
This was just a single property here. So you're doing a little different than Anil. You're going into other things, but you have your own reasons. Yeah. Listen, it's great, Pompey, to have you on the show. Keep in touch and let me know what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. And Anil, it's great to see you sharing your knowledge. We're not done yet. We're going to look at another everyday investor making lots of money investing in the States. Thank you so much for watching the show. We'll continue in just a moment. Did you know that with depreciation and mortgage interest deductions, your cash flow could be tax-free? Capital gains may be due on the sale of the property in the future. Hey, it's Rav. You're watching The Everyday Investor. Thanks for watching. We're talking about how to make money investing in the States. We're talking to my good friend Anil Walia, who took $440,000, turned it into over $8 million in less than 5 years. Now he's teaching other people how to do the same thing. Pompey made over 150%. And now Harv Singh's on the show with us. Harv, it's great to have you here.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for being on the show and teaching us what you did. It's crazy. Your return on investment after a year or so has been what, over 400%? Is that what we're going to look at?
400%, yeah.
So no one would believe. I mean, listen, Anil, we're making 4, 3, 5% with our RSPs, 1% in our GICs. I mean, he's talking about 400 and some percent. No one's going to believe you unless we actually show what's happening. And these are real things that are happening over a period of just over a year, correct?
Over a year.
You have one property. You saw Anil teaching somewhere as well. You approached him, and now you have one property in the States. What's the future plan? Are you going to do more? Take it kind of slow and
The
easy?
future plan is to take this model and keep buying more properties.
And keep buying more properties. Okay, so very exciting, Harv. Let's take a look in the same area, and just outside Orlando there, in Kissimmee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what was our purchase price?
Purchase price was 106.
106 was the purchase price, and we bought this cash.
Bought it cash. Yeah.
Okay, so 106K was our purchase price.
Closing costs were about $2,000.
$2,000 to close this, and then we did some rentals.
Yeah, this house didn't really need much renovations.
Okay.
So about $500.
$500.
Yeah.
You included that?
Yeah.
Okay. So no, you included it in your numbers, right?
No, I didn't include it yet. No.
You didn't include it.
No.
Okay, so we'll just leave that out. So
Okay.
$500 was for a little bit
Shampooing the rugs.
the rug,
Getting
maybe
a
a little
garage
paint,
door
cut
open,
the
yeah,
lawn, all that kind of
exactly,
stuff.
exactly.
Okay, was there any other costs associated?
No, that's it.
Okay, so you are in this property, for all intents and purposes, out of pocket for $108,000.
$108,000, yes.
Correct? Okay, so you left it like this, and your rent, you were getting how much a rent for? So according to Anil, you should have been getting $1,080 a month for gross rent.
Well, it was $1,050.
$1,050.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you okay with that, Anil?
Yeah.
Off by $30?
Yes.
Okay, so you make $1,050 in rent, and this covers everything just standalone by itself.
Yeah, it does.
Correct? So you're making $13,000 a year on this property, and that's not bad. So if we just leave this alone, I'm just talking cash.
Yes.
I'm making, what's that, about 12%?
Yeah,
Right,
12%, yeah.
12% a
Yeah.
year, because you bought it, you're all in for about 100 grand, and we're making about $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
12% if we did nothing.
If we did nothing.
And we're not including how prices went up.
Yes.
So I don't understand how I get from 12% a year to over 400% a Harv.
Okay.
So teach
So
me.
I'm refinancing the house right now. I'm in the process.
Okay, and this is just after a year of owning it.
Exactly.
Okay?
Year and a half.
Year and a half of
been a
owning
year
it.
and a
Okay.
half.
All right.
Yeah, so it's
so for a year and a half, you've been enjoying over 12%.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And now you say, hey, wait a minute. There's a lot of equity in this home. So
Exactly.
I'm assuming that the property is not worth $106,000 anymore.
No, it's been appraised for 140.
140,000.
Yeah.
So this new price over here, it's worth $140,000. That's what you're saying?
140, yes. Correct.
Okay. And then you pulled money out of this?
100,000, yeah, 70%.
70%. So you could take out 70%. We take out, and so 70% of that is what?
100,000?
It's $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So we pulled out 100K, and so we take that 100K, and now what you're telling me is you're in the property for $8,000.
Or roughly, yeah, 8,000.
Right? So now we take this, we look over here, you got 100K out of it, so you're in the property for $8,000.
Correct.
Correct?
Yep.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And so we want to know how we're making money. So we looked at this property from 106 to 140. That's a pretty significant increase in the year. It's not going to every year going to go up that much. So we use what to go up?
3%?
So we're just using 3%.
Yeah.
So 3% of that is how much?
It is $4,200.
$4,200 on the up. And now we have a mortgage here because we refinanced. So somebody's paying down our mortgage. How much?
It's $1,771.
$1,771. That's how much we're getting in a year. And then there's some cash flow here. So
Yeah.
after all expenses,
32.
how much?
$32.88.
$32.88.
Yes.
So $32.88. And of course, what's liquid is the $32.88. But still, this is an investment.
Yeah.
It's going up in value. Somebody's paying down mortgage, and we're getting some cash flow. So when I take the $4,200, the $1,771, and the $32.88, do you have that added up?
It's $92.59.
$92.59. So you're making just over $9,000 a year, correct?
Correct.
But you're only in for $8,000. So we take the $92.59 and we divide it by what you're in for, the 8,000, and that should give us an ROI of what?
110.
Yeah, it's 110.
110%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's without the forced depreciation.
The force. Oh, okay. So you did. I got it. So afterwards, you did something even more to improve the property.
Exactly.
It went up, but we're not going to include that. When it did go up, it goes up even more significantly,
Exactly.
and that's how you got
The
400 some
400,
percent.
yeah.
But listen, you're making 110% just by doing this. Just buying a property and renting it out, you're making 12%. This is phenomenal, and you're what, in your 20s, early
26,
30s?
yeah.
26 years old,
Yeah.
and you're doing this. That's fantastic. And so, where did we get the actual 108? Did we borrow it, pay some interest, and so this return's higher?
My
or?
family was moving, so we sold the house.
Yeah.
And then when we purchased a new house, we just pulled some
money out,
equity
and
on
you
it,
used
yeah.
that.
Exactly.
And now you gave it all back.
Exactly.
And this
yeah.
is your little baby here. You're in the whole property for $8,000.
Exactly.
And so, Anil, this is happening.
This is happening.
This is the real deal. This is happening, and people can do this over and over again.
This is where knowledge is power.
And knowledge mitigates risk, as we always say, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, not anybody, there's a lot of people, it's because of your relationship and how many properties you have that we're able to pull out 70, 75%. Because you say you can pull out even up to 75%.
Up to 75%.
But because we do a little bit of work on it, it increases, so you're pulling all your money out.
Yeah.
Basically.
You see, another thing is the power team, which I have in Orlando.
Yeah.
They are doing a great job.
Yes.
So they make us comfortable here. We can, managing the property.
And you said your property, your power team includes 2 or 3 realtors,
Yeah.
a home inspector,
Home inspector, a property manager,
a property manager, and a contractor.
a contractor,
And this is what you-
and the lenders.
And your lenders are there as well.
Yeah.
And who does your accounting? You do it there or here?
I do accounting in Canada.
Accountant. It's no piece of cake. If you have the right accountant, they'll be able to.
Because you see, for accountant, you got to get a fellow who knows both sides of the border.
Yeah.
So there are few accountants available in Canada who know both sides. So they do the accounting.
So Harv, be honest. I mean, do you sleep well at night knowing that you have, or is it a bit of a worry that you have an asset in the States, you don't go there, and it's making money? I mean, Anil, he says he sleeps like a baby, but how about you? I mean,
I've actually visited the property.
You visited the property?
Yeah.
So you went down there, you checked
I actually
it out?
stayed in the house as well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's is their own comfort level.
No, after 1 year. He visited after 1 year.
Yeah, after,
Oh, after 1 year.
not before buying.
Not before buying. So Pompey, Anil, yourself, all these properties, because the team's already down there, they're sending, the realtor has to approve it, the home inspector has to approve it, you get a detailed 40-page report, your contractor has to approve it, the bank has to approve it. For you, it's no-brainer, and then obviously it has to have the 1% rule.
Yeah.
That it's got to give me 1% gross rent per month based on the purchase price.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what's next for you?
Well, the plan is to take this model and keep buying more homes.
To keep buying more homes.
Exactly.
And because you've got the $100,000 out now, what is an average? What's the price today now for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Kissimmee?
You see, obviously, if you look at this, a house which he bought for 140, once 108, it became 140.
Yeah,
So we cannot buy the same house for 100.
that's right.
So we got to shift either the neighborhood,
Yeah,
or we got to buy a house which is little rundown.
a little bit run down.
So that
and put
we can
some
do,
cosmetics
yeah,
on it.
we can do more renovation.
Okay.
So again, this is part of the model.
Yeah.
So, but
We just adjust.
we
Just adjust the strategy. You
we
tweak
keep
it here and
adjusting,
there.
yeah. And still, there are plenty of properties available,
And you are on number 46.
and I'm number 46, and 47th is coming on October 20th.
And how much? I mean, we looked at his property. This cash flow alone was $1,000 a month for one property. His.
Yeah,
You have 46 properties.
yeah.
So your average per house cash flow is about what? Average per house?
No, my total cash flow gross is 720,000.
720,000.
Yeah.
But if I divide that by 47, what would that be?
Uh,
700 and just to get an idea, so
Yeah.
$720,000. That's per year.
Yeah, per year.
Okay, divide that by 12, divide that by 47. So yeah, your average cash flow is about 1,300. Because that's what I want people to understand. I want you watching the show and seeing that Anil is only making, I don't want to say only, but he's making $1,200 a month cash flow. But when you times $1,200 a month cash flow by 12 months, that's about $15,000. And then you times that by about 50 properties, now we're looking at $750,000 per year cash flow
Yeah.
in less than 5 years.
Yeah, you see the beauty of the whole portfolio is a portfolio of $8 million. If it appreciates at 5%,
Yeah.
it's making $400,000 every year,
Yes.
which is $1,000 a day, and $720,000. If 50% is the expense, $360,000 in net cash flow, which is again $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
So you make $2,000 a day
Yeah.
without doing two hours of work.
Yes. And what is your exit plan? So are you going to continue, because you're not doing it, the property managers are taking care, one property manager, or you have a few?
One property manager.
One guy is taking care, of your 47 properties and,
Yeah.
and counting.
Yeah.
And so you really don't have to do much work. So are you just is your exit to hold these, or one day do you think you'll sell them? Or I guess it depends on all the tax consequences
Tax consequences and the market.
and the market.
So
if you feel like they're going down, you may sell your higher ones and then pick up more again at lower.
yeah, at one stage I was thinking if the market in US, you see in US the market hasn't started running as yet.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of restrictions on the mortgages.
Okay.
The people who lost their credits and they were in bankruptcies and things like, they are coming back normal.
Okay.
So once the mortgages starts running, and these properties will run like they are running in Canada.
Yeah.
So the bulk of the money that we made.
So Harv, did we put this in your personal name? Did you put it in a corporation?
It's under my personal name.
It's in your personal name. And are these all under your personal name or a corporation?
No, mine is part.
Part and part.
Initially, I started buying in personal name, but
Yeah.
then when I realized that it's crossed a stage,
Yeah.
then I started putting into the entities.
Okay. But the original ones you didn't put into the corporate. Didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
Again, this is what
Tax
your
issues.
accountant.
Yeah,
tax.
they are tax issues.
Okay, great. Well, listen, my friend, it's great to have you on the show, and please keep in touch and let me know what you continue to do with property
sure.
number 2, 3, all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Very cool. We've been talking to Harv and seeing how he's basically doubled his money, in a year's time, and continuing to do that. We're talking to my good friend Anil Walia. We'll come back with his closing thoughts. Don't go anywhere. The Everyday Investor continues in a moment. If you have any questions pertaining to this show, or there's a topic that you would like covered, please visit www.rogerstv.com. Hey, it's Rob. You've been watching The Everyday Investor. We've been talking to my good friend Anil Walia. He's also brought a couple of his friends on the show, Pompey and Harv, and they're teaching us how they're making money investing in the States. Anil, time flies when you're having fun. I'm always nurtured by you, Uncle G. Thank you so much for teaching us. In a minute or so, what are your paternal thoughts to the viewers at home? If you were to look at these guys when it comes to investing in real estate, you talked a lot about courage. What are your thoughts there in terms of being able to, money's not everything, but it can help us?
Yeah, you see, I think this is not taught in the schools and colleges. If people should teach their children, or they should be aware that you got to develop an investor mindset. Investor mindset means you must know that you should not, how to save money and how to invest money. And once you have investor mindset, then you should try to learn knowledge. You should develop knowledge. So educate yourself towards investment techniques. And once you are very clear on your aims, so whichever direction you want to go, select a mentor, follow that route, proven route.
Yeah.
And once you cross that route once, and then you are more developed, you can change the route at that time.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's very essential for people to get educated, have an investor's mindset, and then follow it.
Very well said, because I think people focus on, this guy Anil Walia on The Everyday Investor, in less than 5 years he turned 400,000 into over 8 million. But I think the part that we don't want to pay a lot of attention to, my nature doesn't want to anyways, but I need to be schooled in, is that you spent 2-3 years on education before you jumped in here. So Anil, thank you so much for being on the show. I look forward to
thank you so much.
having you on the show again, and even more importantly, grabbing some lunch sometime soon. It's on me. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. On behalf of Rogers TV and myself, Toor, we'll see you same time next week, same place, all that kind of good stuff. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon. Ciao, everyone.